It's got to be the most famous secret place on Earth, right? A spot so wrapped in mystery, it's fueled this global obsession with aliens for decades. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the legend of Area 51 and try to separate the cold hard facts from the really wild fiction. So let's just dive right in with a question that kind of gets to the heart of the whole modern Area 51 myth. How on earth does a highly secured top secret military installation become the target of a massive public internet joke? To really understand that whole 2019 craze, we have to go back, way back. This story didn't just pop up with a Facebook meme. No, it was built over decades of intense secrecy, Cold War paranoia, and one really crucial, really mysterious event out in Roswell, New Mexico. All right, let's kick things off with that absolutely bizarre event in 2019 that brought Area 51 roaring back into the global spotlight. It just perfectly shows how deep this cultural obsession really runs. The whole thing started as a complete and total prank. A college student, Maddie Roberts, was listening to a popular podcast with this longtime conspiracy theorist, Bob Lazar, and he just created a joke event. He never, ever imagined anyone would actually take it seriously. Oh, but they did. I mean, it went wildly viral. We're talking over 2 million people clicking going, all brought together by one single meme-fueled mission to see them aliens. The response got so huge, it actually became a legitimate national news story. But, when the actual day rolled around, the reality was a little different. Turns out, the harsh Nevada desert, with temperatures pushing over 40 degrees Celsius, plus some pretty stern warnings from the U.S. military, well, that kept most people away. The big storm kind of fizzled into a desert music festival they called Alien Stock, and only about 6,000 people actually showed up. And get this, even the creator himself was totally shocked by how seriously people took his joke. I mean, the plan, which literally included a strategy to Naruto run to dodge military bullets, was clearly a joke. But your prank has hit a whole new level when the FBI shows up at your door. So you gotta ask, how did a military base get so tied up with aliens in the first place? For that, we have to go back to 1947, to a little town called Roswell, New Mexico. This is ground zero for the modern UFO legend. So picture this. It's the summer of 47, and America is just obsessed with flying saucers. Then, a rancher finds some really bizarre debris. The local Army airfield first announces, and this is a quote, that they've captured a flying disc. But then, just one day later, they do a complete 180 and claim it was just a simple weather balloon. That sudden switch, that's what planted the very first seeds of a government cover-up conspiracy that would just bloom for decades. Okay, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because while the public was looking up at the skies searching for aliens, the government was hiding a very different and very real secret. The truth had nothing to do with aliens. It was all about the paranoia of the Cold War. So back in 1954, President Eisenhower, he needed a way to spy on the Soviet Union, badly. The CIA needed a location that was completely off the grid, totally hidden. And the remote, dried-up Groom Lake bed in Nevada? It was the perfect spot. And just like that, Area 51 was born. And this is where all those UFO sightings really came from. They were testing incredible planes like the U-2 and the SR-71 Blackbird. Just think about this for a second. A passenger jet cruises around 12,000 meters up. The SR-71 flew at more than double that height and at a jaw-dropping 3,400 kilometers per hour. That is literally faster than a rifle bullet. Now imagine you're a commercial pilot down below. What would you think you were seeing? So you've basically got this perfect storm, right? You have a public that is totally primed to see flying saucers everywhere, and then you have a military testing aircraft that look and move like absolutely nothing else on Earth. It was just the perfect recipe for a massive misunderstanding. And you know what? The CIA figured this out really fast. They realized this whole UFO craze was the perfect cover story. When people reported seeing strange, silent lights at 21,000 meters, that was a U-2 spy plane. When they saw an object streaking across the sky at over 3,000 kilometers an hour, that was the Blackbird. The government didn't even need to deny anything. They could just let people believe they were seeing alien ships. It was probably the best security they could have ever hoped for. So for decades, the myth just grew and grew, unchecked, fueled by all this secrecy and speculation. But in recent years, A whole wave of declassified documents has finally let us separate the real facts from the fiction. And, one by one, the main pillars of that whole alien myth just started to crumble. That Roswell wreckage, it wasn't a weather balloon or a UFO. It was a top secret balloon from something called Project Mogul, used to spy on Soviet nuke tests. Bob Lazar, the key insider who inspired that 2019 raid, turns out his credentials and background were completely made up. And then the big one. In 2013, the CIA finally, officially acknowledged Area 51's existence. They put it on the map for the very first time. But here's the twist. Even with the truth finally out there, the legend of Area 51 is more powerful and, honestly, more popular than ever. The myth has just taken on a life of its own. I mean, think about it. The very thing that was once a symbol of intense government secrecy is now basically a cash cow. The state of Nevada has completely leaned into the folklore. They even renamed a nearby road the Extraterrestrial Highway and created this whole tourist trap with alien-themed businesses. The government has also gotten a lot smarter with its language. They don't talk about UFOs anymore. The official term now is UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. And this is a really deliberate shift. It's designed to reframe the conversation, to take it away from little green men, and make it a serious issue of national security, focusing on things like advanced drones from other countries. So while we've pretty much debunked the whole alien story that defined this place for half a century, Area 51 is still a very active, very secret military base. See, it was never about aliens. It was always about developing the next generation of military technology. Which really leaves us with the real question. What incredible, unbelievable aircraft are flying over the Nevada desert right now?